What if one of the most important decisions in the wizarding world had gone differently? We all remember that moment in the Great Hall when the Sorting Hat pressed down on Harry Potter's head. The hat whispered about his ambition, his talent, and his thirst to prove himself. It even suggested that Harry belonged in Slytherin. But Harry begged, he pleaded, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. And so, the hat placed him in Gryffindor. But what if Harry hadn't resisted? What if the hat had followed its instincts and placed the boy who lived in Slytherin, the house of cunning, ambition, and resourcefulness? In this alternate timeline, Harry's life takes a dramatically different path. Friendships shift, alliances crumble, and even the outcome of the Wizarding War may not play out the same way. Let's explore how the story of Harry Potter might have unfolded if he had been sorted into Slytherin. The moment the Sorting Hat shouts Slytherin, the entire Great Hall gasps. The boy who lived, the child who defeated Voldemort, now wearing the green and silver of Salazar Slytherin's house, it immediately sparks whispers. Gryffindors see it as betrayal. The Weasleys exchange worried looks. Even Dumbledore, while calm, realizes this decision will reshape the boy's destiny. In this new reality, Harry doesn't sit beside Ron Weasley. Instead, Draco Malfoy extends a hand of friendship once more. This time, Harry accepts. Surrounded by ambitious peers, Harry learns early how to mask his feelings and think strategically. He becomes less the wide-eyed boy of Gryffindor and more of a careful observer, blending into the cunning atmosphere of his new house. This means when Harry confronts Quirrell at the end of the year, he's not the reckless Gryffindor charging head-on. He's suspicious, calculating, and though he still defends the stone, his methods are quieter, more deceptive, already reflecting Slytherin traits. Year 2 is where Harry's sorting into Slytherin begins to carry dangerous consequences, when students start getting petrified and the whispers of the heir of Slytherin resurface. Who do people look at first? Harry. He's already infamous for speaking Parseltongue during the dueling club. In this reality, Gryffindors and Hufflepuffs don't just suspect him, they fear him. Even teachers begin to wonder if Harry himself might be connected to the attacks. Harry feels this isolation deeply. But unlike Gryffindor Harry, who clings to Ron and Hermione, Slytherin Harry hardens. He leans into his cunning side, working behind the scenes, seeking knowledge that might clear his name. Eventually, when he enters the Chamber of Secrets, it's not out of blind bravery. It's because he knows the only way to survive in this world is to prove himself smarter and more resourceful than anyone else. He still saves Ginny Weasley, but it doesn't mend his bond with Ron. Instead, it only fuels a legend. Harry Potter, the Slytherin boy who speaks with snakes, who faced the basilisk and lived. A hero to some, but a feared rival to others. By year 3, Harry's life takes an even darker turn. When Sirius Black escapes Azkaban, Gryffindors assume the danger will fall on them. But in this timeline, Slytherin Harry doesn't just see Sirius as a threat. He questions everything he's been told about his parents. Living among Slytherins, who often defend their family's dark pasts, Harry becomes more open-minded to the idea that maybe Sirius isn't the villain everyone says he is. When the truth is revealed, that Sirius was framed, and that Pettigrew was the traitor, it resonates even more powerfully. Harry realizes that appearances deceive, and that good and evil are never simple. This lesson sinks deeper into him than it did in the Gryffindor timeline. By the end of year 3, Harry isn't the hopeful child who looks forward to summers with the Weasleys. He's a calculating, independent thinker who trusts very few people. And in Slytherin House, that mindset is respected. The Triwizard Tournament changes everything. In the Gryffindor timeline, Harry is reluctantly supported by his house. But in Slytherin, his selection as a champion is seen as confirmation that he's ambitious, manipulative, and willing to bend rules for glory. Even Draco begins to distance himself, suspicious that Harry is playing his own game. During the tournament, Harry relies less on friendship and more on strategy. He carefully studies his opponents, plots solutions, and uses cunning rather than brute force. But the darkest moment comes in the graveyard. When Voldemort rises again, the Slytherin connection feels chillingly real. Harry understands Voldemort's ambition in a way no Gryffindor ever could. And Voldemort, in turn, sees the boy who lived not just as an enemy, but as a potential heir. Someone molded by the same house that shaped him. When Harry escapes back to Hogwarts, the lines between him and Voldemort feel thinner than ever before. In his 5th year, Harry is already burdened by his connection to Voldemort. But being in Slytherin makes him even more mistrusted. When he claims Voldemort has returned, the Ministry finds it all too believable that the boy who lived, now a Slytherin teenager with a reputation for secrecy, is drifting toward the Dark Lord's influence. This isolates Harry further, but it also makes him sharper. Instead of forming Dumbledore's army out of pure hope, he trains his peers like a general. His lessons are less about courage and more about survival. He instills strategy, deception, and clever tactics. The DA becomes not just a resistance group, but a true army of cunning fighters. By sixth year, when Draco Malfoy struggles with his mission from Voldemort, Harry doesn't see him purely as an enemy. He recognizes the pressure of legacy, of being caught between fear and loyalty. Instead of hating Draco, he sympathizes. Perhaps in this reality, Harry even tries to steer Draco away from murder, offering him an alternative path. This Slytherin Harry is not reckless. He's patient, observant, and far more dangerous to Voldemort because of it. He doesn't just fight with bravery, he fights with cunning. The final year plays out very differently. In the Gryffindor timeline, Harry survives the hunt for Horcruxes through loyalty, courage, and sacrifice. But in this timeline, his Slytherin cunning shapes the journey. He's less idealistic. He plans ambushes, uses deception against Death Eaters, and shows a ruthlessness that surprises even Hermione. When the Battle of Hogwarts begins, the biggest change arrives. In the original timeline, most of Slytherin House flees. But with Harry as their champion, many Slytherins stay. They fight, not because they're brave, but because they see Harry as one of their own, a leader who proves Slytherin values can be used for good. When Harry faces Voldemort in the final duel, it isn't just a clash of courage versus evil. It's cunning against cunning. Voldemort underestimates him, believing Harry's heart makes him weak. But Harry's time in Slytherin taught him how to wield both heart and mind. He outsmarts the Dark Lord his own game, turning Voldemort's arrogance into his downfall. So what's the lesson of this alternate universe? If Harry Potter had been sorted into Slytherin, he would have been feared, doubted, even shunned. But he would also have grown sharper, more cunning, and far more strategic. Instead of charging headlong into danger, he would have become a master of deception and planning. Perhaps the only kind of hero capable of truly defeating Voldemort on his own terms. The truth is, the Sorting Hat was right all along. Harry could have been great in Slytherin. His choices, not his house, are what defined him. In the end, this timeline proves that greatness doesn't come from the color of your house banner, but from the choices you make, even in the darkest of times.